Alright, so what we need to do now is create the rest of our views because we have no about page or services or anything like that. Alright, so we pretty much need to do exactly what we did with main.html. We put just the content for that page into, basically, we created a controller and a route for it. And then it got inserted into this ngView directive, alright, when clicked on. So let's go ahead and just create a couple more files here. So we'll create about.html. We need services, and we need contact. What we need to do now is bring in these templates content. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my text editor here where we have all of the HTML files, and let's go ahead and get the about. So we're going to want to get just the inner content, okay? None of the template up here, not the nav bar or anything like that. That's already included in index.html. So we just want basically the heading and then the content, the paragraphs. Okay, so we'll paste that into about. Alright, and we'll do the same thing for services. Okay, again, you just want the heading, and then in this case we want the rows which have the services in these rows. Okay, so we'll paste that in here. And then we have contact. Okay, for contact we just want this heading, and then we want the different locations. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go to script.js, and what we need to do is we need to add more routes. Alright, so we want to get from when, we'll get from when down to here. Actually, no, down to this dot. That represents one route. So we'll copy that, and then we're going to paste another one here. Like that, and let's see, we'll change this to about. Now the about page isn't going to have its own controller because we're not really using any dynamic content or anything like that, so we do need to change the template URL to about, but I'm just going to leave the main controller. That's fine. Now for this one, this is going to be services, and it's going to go to services HTML, and it's going to have its own controller as well. So services CTRL. And then we have the contact. Okay, contact page, we're going to bring in some locations from a JSON file. So I'm actually going to give that its own controller as well. So we'll have not control, contact. Alright, so those are our routes. So let's save that. And I don't know if this is going to work yet. Okay. So it's showing us the about content, but it's not embedded into the index page for some reason. Services is, however. Okay, we got services, and oh, it's not embedded. We don't have the menu. So let's go down here and let's create the controllers. So we can get rid of this stuff here, and basically I'm just going to copy this. Okay, and just add these controllers like that. Alright, so this is the main controller. Then we're going to have the services. And contact. Now these aren't working because we don't have the correct links here. So you want to be in index.html, And for the menu right here, we want, for this one, is going to be about. You don't need the HTML extension on the end of it. Okay, so this one will be services. This one will be contact. Alright, so now you can see that it's opening these pages right inside of our index page. Alright, so we have the templates, we have all the static content in the templates. What we need to do next is be able to fetch these from a JSON file. So let's create the services JSON file. Okay, we can do that right here. Alright, so we're going to put some valid JSON code in here. We need some brackets. Alright, and then we're going to have an object. Okay, these are going to represent services, so we're going to have an ID. Okay, and this particular service will have an ID of 1. It's going to have a name. Okay, for the name, let's say hardware repair. I'm going to stop this. The blinking is really annoying. Alright, so hardware repair, and then we're going to have a description. And I'm just going to paste the description in. Just give me 1 sec. Alright, so just a bunch of text. Make sure you have your quotes around it. And we want a comma back here. Whoop. Alright, so that's the description. And then, what do we want? We want an image. Alright, now you can make this image anything you want. I'm just going to use the computer icon that we've been using. .png, just the file name. And that's it for the first one, for the first entry. Okay, so we want a comma here. And let's just copy this. Okay, we'll do 3 services. Okay, this one will be virus removal. Alright, and that's going to have the ID of 2. And we'll just leave the same description and image. And then this one is going to be 3. And this will be system tune-up. Okay, we'll leave the rest. So that's it. That should be valid. So let's go back to our script file. So what we need to do here is in the services controller, we need to make an HTTP GET request to that services JSON file. Alright, and to do that we can use the HTTP service, which we need to just include in here. And we also want to claim it here and inject it into this controller, just like we did with the scope. Alright, so we're just going to stick in HTTP, and then we can use it. Alright, so we're going to say http.get, and what we want to get is services.json, and we need to say .then, and we need a callback. So function. Alright, and that function is going to take a response, and let's try and console.log response. Okay, so let's pull the Chrome tools up and services, and here it is right here. This is the response object. You can see it has a status of 200, which is good. And then if we click on that, we can get the data, and you can see here we have our service with all the fields that we created. All right, now if we console log response.data, then if we go down, you can see that we get the data here. All right, and that's what we want. We want to pass that into our view so that we can loop through it and display the services. All right, so to do that, we're going to create a scope variable. Okay, so we'll say scope dot services is going to be equal to response dot data. All right, and that should make it available for us in the services view. All right, so now we need to go to services HTML. Let me bring all this back.